you've got, this is what it'll look like. So hopefully that helps promote the libraries a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an ESP32, you can do that. But pretty much any Arduino that you have with you, you can use the serial port of the Arduino using the CAN serial, using basically the serial node. Just disable the CAN bus. Just don't add the CAN bus to the, like, if you don't add the CAN port, you basically end up with a node that is only on USB. And you can connect to you connect with JMRI.
So that would be like when we, obviously I've been playing with David and Alex's original open single thread. So we use a thing called GC serial, and that allows me to play very easily with the different nodes I'm playing with. Obviously, that's not doing it. That they look like standalone nodes at the moment, but so that's available for us within the example that you've got for the I/O. In theory,
Yes,
if I can do that, I can have a play here. Then that's superb.
Because you're on holiday away from home, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that one there. That's it.
Yeah. So in this example, that's exactly what's happening. So you add the GC serial. GC is for grid connect. So grid connect port on the serial connection, this basically creates the GC serial on the Arduino's built-in computer port. So this actually works. You don't do the CAN. You do just the grid connect port. This will work on any Arduino that is 32-bit.
Okay. So in the likes of the I/O, then I just need to put that line of code in for the I/O board example you've got, and that would work, or no?
Yeah. I suppose in the I/O board you would basically, maybe enable Wi-Fi and just do this add grid connect port at serial, and you might be able, and then you would probably be able to see your ESP32. It has to be an ESP32 if you're using the I/O board.
Yes. Yeah.
Then your ESP32 through the wired connection to the computer.
And you need, and Balazs, you need the serial begin line too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the serial begin as well.
Okay.
Yeah, give that a go. Excellent.
Yeah, that's excellent. Great. Thank you, Balazs.
You're
welcome. This has cleared a lot of things up.
Yeah, no, it's very helpful. Great. Thanks for that. Despite knowing that it existed for many, many years, I've never actually looked at it.
That's okay. we had always been focusing on actual products with actual manufacturers.
So is there any particular downside apart from, it works in the Arduino environment? What do you lose by using this the light version, really?
If you use the light version versus the full version, what you lose is the drivers that we have built for those microcontrollers. So, for example, this is most painful with the CAN driver. That really you need to bring your own CAN driver. And we have these three examples: the FedRAM4 CAN, the ESP32, and the STM32. But beyond that, you really need to bring your CAN driver. In the real OpenMRN, we actually have CAN drivers for, I don't know, like 8 or 10 different microcontrollers, including some external CAN chips as well, like a Bosch MCAN-based CAN chip, for example. Yes. So that's basically the biggest thing you lose. And then, of course, storage. Because storage in the light, we already have for ESP32. Without storage, you're basically locked into doing only fixed event IDs. And as a hobbyist, even if you're building like a real model, that's not actually a big problem that your event IDs are fixed, but it's not going to look like the product that you purchase.
Right.
And for some people, this might actually be better than the product that you purchase. I claim that people who understand what like version control systems are and what they are for, it's actually better to have fixed events than configurable events. But it's a very different concept.
Do you have any little convenience methods which say generate an event ID based upon the node ID, but you supply the last 2 bytes?
I mean,
do you have anything like that?
I do that all the time in my code. I mean, I can show you what my code is like.
It's dead easy if you make
It's
the
like-
base.
Yeah.
If you make the base the node ID with 4 zeros on the end of it, then you can just add. You can just add, right? It's a 64-bit quantity, so
Yeah, it's like and or not and shifts in C++. It's not very difficult. I'll show you how I did in my actual.
Because
how
that
did my actual
reduces
layout.
the negative side of having a fixed event IDs. If they're based upon the node
exactly.
ID, then it's pretty good.
right.
So this is the real hardware that is in my layout. And you see here, I start with an event with a node ID that is in my range. So 14 is my assigned byte, and FF.
Yeah.
So I reserved the last one for my actual layouts event, so not for nodes. And then I add an extra 2 in the hex, and then I take the last nibble of the node ID, shift it by 8. So if the node ID's last nibble was, I don't know, like 20, like the node ID is ends with 3, then this is going to be FF2300.
Right.
And then it's FF2300, and then I basically just like start laying out +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, 6, 7, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And it all basically just lays out from there.
Yep.
And this way, I know if I have an I/O board, it's an 8 input, 8 output, 4 relay I/O board. I have an I/O board with the number 3. I know all of the events. I know exactly where the relay is. I want to switch the relay. I know exactly what event to send to switch that relay.
And you just do all the logic somewhere else on the LCB.
Exactly. The logic then is somewhere else. The logic is all centralized. If you're writing the logic in C code, creating distributed logic is actually much harder to debug than if you have centralized logic. So yeah, I do have centralized logic.
I was thinking that UCAN board would be good for a logic board for writing your logic in.
Yes, that's true, except it has a bit too little flash. When I compiled the CAN plus the node for the F72, I basically end up with 105 kilobytes or so. So you're getting a bit close to the top of your flash.
Did that one have a pads on the back of it for an external chip that you can solder on?
That's actually true. It does. Oh no, wait, no, that doesn't. It's the other one.
No, it doesn't. No,
it's the blue pill that has the flash chip.
Okay.
But if you only need one place where you put logic, then just buy a FedRAM for CAN, and that's 256 kilobytes. That's logic for the ages, and it's $22. So.
Sorry, did you say? I think using a Fram chip would be really good for that kind of stuff. External.
It doesn't really matter because somewhere somebody has to write the logic and then they have to compile it, and once you compile it, then you need to download it. So unless you write your own compiler and your own downloader, your logic is to some extent tied to the Arduino environment. I mean, I'm a software engineer. I wrote my own compiler. I wrote my own downloader. You don't have to use it. But I mean, if you are really interested, I mean, I can show you my compiler because that is in this GitHub.
Actually, Balazs, I'd be interested. What does your logic language look like?
So my logic language is written in C++. It is based on finite state automaton, and I generate the finite state automaton with C++ code. So I have this C++ code. There is a class here. It's called signal piece. So this would be like one signal mast on the layout.
Right.
It is instantiated for every signal mast, and it has to. This is the one that creates the virtual value for the occupancy on the signal mast if there is no detector there, and it is looking, where is the next detector? Is it close or far? And then it is creating various statements on if the detector is occupied, then I'm going to be occupied, and if the detector is not occupied, then I'm going to wait for something. There are some additional logic statements here. It doesn't matter too much. And then eventually at the end, all of these files, I have a number of layouts here. This is my most recent one. These are basically, that is my scroll bar. Scroll bar is here. I don't need that.
So, Balazs, you have really dumb nodes for I/O, and then all the logic is in here.
Exactly. I have dumb nodes, and then sorry, this is there is a lot of copy pasted code here.
So I
but
take
in general, then I basically just instantiate the objects. I have a turnout here. Yeah. I have a block with signal and detector here. I have another block here. There is another turnout between them. So this is a station. This is a 2-track station. And when this code actually runs, then it basically generates finite state automaton for every single object in this 2-track station. And this is C++ code.
So you have fixed event IDs for all your outputs, and you have another set of fixed IDs for your inputs.
Correct, yes.
And they never change. So it makes those nodes are very simple.
Correct. Those nodes are very simple, and then the central logic actually has the mapping. So for example, if your question is like this YYB1, so that would be a track. That would be a track with a block. So this block has to have a signal. It has to have a detector. So this YYB1, we can find it. Here is a detector. So the detector is connected to the board with the number 9, or the hex nibble 9. And it is connected to the input, which has brown cable.
Wow. So it's documenting your layout too.
Yeah. It's documenting my layout, exactly.
Wow.
And of course, this code is checked into GitHub. So it's not only documenting my layout, it's actually documenting where I screwed it up.
That last strange failed.
Yeah, exactly.
You've certainly given us a lot to think about.
Yeah, I mean, so there is a lot here. Obviously, there is a lot here that you don't need to copy. Like, I really don't recommend you to try to copy this whole pattern of like writing C++ code in order to generate finite state automata and download it to an LCC node and then run it there. this is very, very complicated. It is something I spent a lot of time building, but I completely realized that this is not a setup that is accessible. It is not accessible in the sense that other people will have like major difficulties understanding what are the interactions here. It's not well documented. There are tons of examples that they are all super complicated. And if you actually haven't seen these layouts, it will be probably very, very difficult to understand. So this is clearly not the way for you to go. You asked me how I do it. This is how I do it. But the way for you to go would be to write the logic in the Arduino. And I can make a talk on how to do that. Because using the callback event handler and the network initialized bit, both of those I have mentioned during my talk today, those two together, you can be very, very effective in writing logic in very simple C++ mechanism.
I think that's going to be the key for us to show how easy it can be adopted with the examples you've got and the examples the other guys put. Because obviously for a lot of us, it's going to be a big set of steps to take. But if we can do it slowly, so that's why what I've tried to set out is we start off simple with a couple of simple nodes that shows people what can be done. I'm not a programmer. I can bash things together and have a little go at it. But it's showing hopefully more people who are more proficient at coding then jump in and then they can show. So having all these different libraries available to us, that's given us good pointers, because otherwise, obviously we have got AI there that can help us a little bit, but sometimes it hasn't got the examples we're looking for or the know-how to do it. So it's been appreciated being able to say all of this.
Cool. All right, wonderful. Thank you very much for your time. And I think if you still wanted to have the other presentation, I don't know. I mean, Alex is here, I suppose.
Do another day.
I'll say appreciate. Well, I'll get back in touch, because what I'll do, I will have a play myself as well. Then I can raise questions on the group IOs or whatever through an email to yourself, and hopefully I'll be able to make some sort of simple videos to show people, look, this is what you can expect with this. So that'll appear on the YouTube channels. I must admit, sometimes I know it wasn't the best way of doing it because of the route I chose, but it was to show people, look, you don't have to spend a fortune to get going. Obviously, I was lucky I had somebody behind me who knew how to do it. Hopefully it's getting out there more that to people, look, there is LCC out there. And I know Alex is going to give us a presentation on what's actually available out there as well, so people can see. There was one I'm interested in, and I don't know. I use DCC-EX because I'm a right cheap Charlie. I'll admit that. It'd be nice. I believe there's some work being looked at for being able to send some LCC messages out from that command station, or for the command station to receive messages from LCC.
We did a proof of concept which effectively adds another Arduino to the serial port, to one of the serial ports on a DCC-EX command station. You can go and enable another serial port on the command station, and then we basically put that into an Arduino that was running LCC, and it effectively, I guess it was a sort of an LCC modem, if you like, and it listened for events on the DCC-EX event stream or whatever. I don't quite know what the right term is in their world, but it interpreted what it listens, what it hears. It generated LCC turnout events for it, or just events, and that allowed us to publish turnout states and signal states on LCC, and also control them from LCC and have the DCC command station generate the turnout commands and stuff like that. So that was sort of the limit of the proof of concept, but of course they all wanted locomotive control, not about 5 milliseconds after you got turnout control. So that went off the end of my capability. So, but I believe Balazs and Stuart have been working, Mike had been working on a LCC modem anyway. So that will go in a, is that intended primarily for DCC decoders, Balazs, or is that a general?
I mean, we are working on an LCC wireless modem for a decoder.
Yeah.
So you can build this in conjunction with a DCC decoder, either externally with an H-bridge or internally, with the preference being internal, because that's what is a product that is marketable. And then TCS is going to come out with the respective product. And then whoever wants to follow can follow, because really the modem design, which is the hard part here, is going to be open source.
Is there much interest from any other vendors? It's probably not a conversation for this forum, but
we have had discussions with many other vendors. I am not aware of.
That'll be quite disruptive, though. That will be, yeah, having that capability will be pretty cool.
I mean, it is pretty cool. It's clearly not going to be unique in the market, because the Blue Nami decoders have the same set of capabilities. But it will be on par.
Excellent. All sounds good. Thanks for that, Balazs. Very helpful. Very interesting.